The Orioles won the series against the Rays, by the way.
They sure did.
Yeah.
And Jackson Holliday hit another home run, by the way.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
He's all right.
Pretty good. Kid is pretty good. This Orioles team is pretty good.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say something about Jackson Holliday, so don't let me forget, but keep finishing that thought.
No, you're good. But please, you got something to say about Jackson?
Yeah, well, so Talking Yanks put out a tweet the other night. I don't know if everybody saw that. I quote tweeted it, but Juan Soto has now hit a home run against every team in baseball. He's 25 years old. Jackson Holliday is 20 years old. In the last 44 at bats, he's hit home runs against 4 teams already. He's 20. So, could do it a little quicker.
I hope he doesn't hit one against every team before Soto, because that means he's elsewhere. So
well, that's true
I
too.
hope he hits
Maybe
them
29.
against 29 other teams.
Yes.
And then we can have one of those when he's 35 and he goes somewhere like the inaugural, if he hits one tonight against the Orioles, he'd have completed, sort of like we did with Brady when he played the Patriots. And it was if he wins this, he's beaten every team in NFL. So hopefully it's just one of those.
Yeah,
get to 29 faster than Soto, and then just stay there for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. He's had since coming back in July, he's had 44 bats. Yeah, 44 bats, batting in the month of August at 257. So I mean, not blow your face off numbers, but way better than where he was the first tour. So the kid's looking real good. OPS is at 962 in August, by the way.
I was going to say, even though the average is down, every single hit's meaningful. It's go-ahead home runs. It's big doubles to start rallies.
Barreling up on everything.
Yeah, even the outs, it's coming off the bat hot, and he's getting distance. I mean, what was it? Yesterday, I think he went oppo to the warning track on a ball that he legitimately was just trying to take the other way. And he's even talked about this in an interview. They asked him about hitting home runs, and he's like, kind of gave the answer that you want to hear as a baseball fan. He's like, I'm not trying to hit home runs. He's going out there and trying to get the barrel on the bat and make hard contact every single time.
Yeah.
And as he says, he's like, and now right now they're just going out of the park. He's like, but that's not my intention going up to the plate each time is, I got to go yard here. He's like, I want to make good contact with the baseball. If it goes out, it goes out. And right now, the kid's showing off his power.
I think I put out the tweet of all his home runs. I think 4 of the 5 home runs he's hit have been over 400 feet.
Yeah, shortest one was 386 against Cleveland.
Yeah, and someone did the average, because I'm terrible with math. I should have probably been able to do it myself. I think it's an average of 407 feet, all 5 of his home runs. So you saw the picture of him holding the boom box, walking in.
Paper cut.
Single paper cut. That's great. It's like the dude's forearms. He's 20 years old. They look like a damn roadmap.
Yeah.
He's yoked. He's on a great workout plan, and he talked about his workout regimen in the offseason and how that's built him into who he is today. He looks like a grown man. I mean, face aside, because he's still got the baby face, and you know what, baby face gang, stand up. It's okay, but he looks like a grown man out there, and the way he carries himself too. This is everything you want in a former number 1 overall pick, who is going to be the face of your franchise for years and years to come. And that's why the thought of trading him at the deadline just baffled a lot of people. It was crazy.
I do want to real fast say this.
One paper cut is so fucking
imagine if we were watching, and Kevin, we've talked about this.
I was going to say it. Yep.
Imagine how upset we'd be if he was doing this in Detroit right now.
Right.
Yeah.
If he came up and he did 3 straight games with the home run, 4 home runs in his last 6 games, we would be sitting here shaking. Why did we give him up?
And there was also, I don't know I forget who put out the tweet, but it might have been Jacob Calvin Meyer, if I'm not mistaken, but he kind of went through some of these prospects who have come up for the Orioles and had struggles. This is not just a Jackson exclusive thing, where obviously Grayson had some struggles, Colton had some struggles, Adley had his fair share of struggles before really finding his feet or finding their feet and getting it going. Sometimes that means you get sent back down to AAA for a little bit. You come back up and you start rolling. And that's what we've seen here for Jackson, who is only 20 years old, who does have so much more to learn and grow into at the MLB level. And this is a guy that was being lauded. I remember the talks that we had, guys, when he was coming up for the first time, when our chat here was saying, oh, is he going to be better than Gunnar? Is he going to be better than Adley? And this is a guy who's never taken an MLB at bat before at that point. And that's, the cameras in your face, they're flashing, there are all these storylines. It can be a lot. And some guys can just get it and go. Other guys need more time. But that doesn't mean that when you're talking about a Jackson, or I know the most relevant case right now is Coby Mayo, that doesn't mean it's a talent issue for these guys. It's just a matter of, hey, Jackson said it, this is the best league in the world, and you got to prove you belong. And sometimes it takes longer for other guys, but that doesn't mean that you got to give up on them after 15 at-bats or 39 at-bats or however much it was for some of these guys. You got to give them time sometimes to lean into it and get going, and that's okay.
I almost expect every prospect that gets called up now for the Orioles to just struggle. Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. And you know what? If they do, fine. You rip the Band-Aid off, you get them up in the bigs, you get them a taste of what it's like to be up here and to be a big leaguer and to compete against the best of the best of the best. And they're probably going to struggle. If they don't, that's fantastic. Like when Samuel Basayo, when he eventually gets the call up, that could be next year, I'm assuming, maybe a year after that, depending on what they do with him. We're going to expect him to struggle as well. But the player that doesn't, it's just going to be like, damn, okay. If they don't, but Rip, am I right in saying this? It's inevitable that these guys are going to struggle at some point, whether it's in the first, the start of their career, like right off the bat, or somewhere in that first year, there's going to be some ups and downs.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know the phrase I'm going to say. Baseball is hard. Baseball is really hard. The best in the world are going to struggle. Not for days, not for weeks. They could go for months, maybe even a season. The best players in the world, truly, some of the ones that go off to be some of the greatest that ever played the game, they're able to handle the failures and get out of those ruts quicker than others. That's the reality. Then you have some outliers where it's like Aaron Judge was off to a slow start for the first 4 or 5 weeks of this season, and now he is the greatest hitter the world's ever seen. Every player has a different level of failure. How you handle the failure and get more consistent is going to define you. All young players, the hardest thing is to figure out yourself at the big league level. And for Jackson Holliday, it's the same thing. I mean, raise your hand. When you guys all started your professions, Rocco going into the reporting field on TV, Kevin, when you were doing your first ads for Blue Chew as well, and Zach, Rocco, even being on here for myself, doing TV, radio. Did it just come to you easily? Right?
Do not listen to my first episode. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, mine was pretty terrible too.
Oh, you guys want to hear my first live shot ever? I was a student reporter at Temple University. And I got nervous during a live shot, and I grabbed my belt, and it looked like I grabbed my crotch.
That actually needs to be a real. Like
everyone calls it the crotch grab back at Temple now because of that. Yeah, it was the infamous crotch grab live shot where my hand was
You're famous, Rocco. How do you feel?
It was like nervous tick, but I didn't like it wasn't there. It was at the belt. But it looked so damn bad.
I'm telling you, we need to put like just a reel of all 5 of us, really, because Zach has footage as well of being in front of
Zach's mascot footage. That's what I'm talking about.
Like gripping the papers real tight, Zach, when you were doing it. Like, I'm Zach Bollinger. Dude, welcome into Marshall University Sportscast.
Back the days. Yeah, five years ago.
You got to bring it up, man.
Oh, I'll find them. I still have them on YouTube. Trust me, I can find them.
Oh man, Rip,
here's the thing.
That's another thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Besides Rocco, I'm curious. I'll save it for the end. But what I'm hearing is that when we look back at our first moments in a professional setting of what you're trying to do, or even anything in life, doesn't have to be professional, there is a struggle period. Now imagine you're going against the best in the world in a sport where you're going to fail at least 75% of the time to be able to stay there in the bigs. You can even fail maybe 78% of the time if you hit a lot of jacks and you can drive in runs, right? So that's the context for these young guys. Kevin, you mentioned Coby Mayo, I believe. Coby's off to a rough start, but people also got to remember when you think about this, all he's done is gone from high school to the minor leagues and worked your way up. So in the last, 5 years, you are now removed from not only the big leagues, you forego college and now, you high school, minor leagues, you forego college, and now you're going against the best of the best in the world. Everyone has a different path, but the common denominator is you're going to have to fail. So for Coby Mayo and for Jackson, the failure is only going to make you better. But imagine if someone gave up on you when, Kevin, you made that first Blue Chew ad. We might not have Locked On Ravens, but you grow from it. You build off of it. And that's something that fans keep the faith. If you were in the position of what you were doing, keep the faith. Now, if it doesn't work out over a period of time, then you got to see about your assets. But you owe it to these guys. You've worked with these guys. You know what they're capable of. See it through and figure it out. And then most likely right now for the Orioles case, seeing out their prospects has turned into gold here in Baltimore. So that's what I got.